Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to HD Park, and we have some big news. After the last game where we beat Solihull Moors 2-0, we beat Bromley 2-0, lost against Exeter 1-0, beat Crewe 2-0, and then we got the news that we had been promoted to League One after that victory. Wasn't expecting to come back until maybe the Lincoln game to seal things up there. As it so happens, we got promoted after those 3 games, including a defeat to Exeter, which was absolutely mental. The table currently looks like this. There's 4 games left. We have 93 points. Sunderland have 92. We could still possibly finish third if we lost all our games and Carlisle won all theirs. They'd pass us by a point. That looks highly unlikely at this point that we're going to lose all 4 of these last games. We might lose 1, but it's very unlikely that we're going to lose all 4. Also, in those results, we beat Gillingham 3-1, we beat Lincoln 3-1. That means that the final 4 games of the season look like this. It's Newport County first to a 16th, which should be a winnable game. We then play Carlisle, who are third. That is going to be one hell of a tough game. Oldham in what is a local derby. They are 12th. And then Accrington Stanley, who are 18th. Another good chance to win. There's 3 winnable games there and 1 really tough game. That game against Carlisle. Sunderland, on the other hand, their schedule looks like this. They first play Mansfield. They are 13th in the league. Then they play Gillingham, who are 8th. Doncaster after that, who are 10th. And then they go away to Bolton, who are 5th on the last day of the season. So it's a tougher run. They've got 3 teams in the top half. I'm not sure how the table looks. I've hit the wrong button there. So Doncaster have got an outside chance of making the playoffs, as do Gillingham. So there's games in there against live opponents at this point in the season. Meanwhile, we have that real one tough game against Carlisle, but they're a couple of points away from securing promotion themselves. So by the time we play them, hopefully they might have that sewn up. Is it the second or third game? Second game, maybe not. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to split this into 2 episodes. So first episode today is going to be a double header: Newport County away, Carlisle at home, and then in the next episode is going to be Oldham away, Accrington Stanley at home, and we're going to finish off the season. And hopefully, I mean, I'd love to be able to wrap it up today. If we win both our games, Sunderland lose both theirs, we wrap it up. That would be nice going into tomorrow's episode. We can do tomorrow's episode along with the end of season review, and it'll all be nice and chilled and nice and comfortable. Not sure that's going to be the case. I can't see Sunderland dropping points in both games. Nonetheless, we're going to get into today's episode, today's game, and that is the game against Newport County. We played them early on in the season and we beat them 2-1. Game where Charlie McCann and Graham Alexander grabbed the goals. Really played them off the park there. Late goal from Crowley got them back into it, made it look closer than it was. So definitely a winnable game. Definitely we can do a job. We just need to make sure we don't let the pressure get to us, because we have done that on a few occasions this season where we've been on a good run of form and then we just drop silly points. Morecambe there, Exeter there, Doncaster there, in the middle of good runs, and we're on another decent run, 3 on the spin. And hopefully, like I say, we can turn it around. This will be our 3rd away game in a row, by the way. We played on the Wednesday against Gillingham, the Saturday against Lincoln, and then this Saturday against Newport. But the final 4 games, we do have 2 home, 2 away. So hopefully that can balance it out a little bit. Anyway, enough talking from me. Let's look at the team news for today's game. So the team for this game away at Newport County, it's Webb in goal, Serino, Reid, Dunwoody and Davies across the back. Benjamin sat in front of them, McCann and Hottie in midfield, Cover on the left, James on the right, Alexander playing up front. We've had some issues with our faces. We've lost a lot of faces, which is bizarre. I'm just going to quickly look, see if I can sort that out now. And I didn't. And I've just realised why. It's because I deleted the face pack that was on here, because it started editing the faces of real players, and when you're looking at Erling Haaland and it's not Erling Haaland, it's sort of a dodgy thing. Anyway, forget about that. That's the team news. Let's get into today's game. Free kick here. Hottie puts the ball towards the far post. Ward collects it comfortably. No real challenge left to him, which was slightly disappointing, I've got to be honest. Would have liked to have done a bit more with that ball fired up. They only had 1 player in our half, and it was easily brought down, and James now can come infield. Looks infield to Davies, back to Dunwoody. Davies receives back, infield to Benjamin. Hottie's further forward, into the path of Alexander. Lovely little one-touch passing into Serino. That's a poor ball, and Courtney can hook it away, but Reid brings it back over halfway. Early pressure here from us inside the first 15 minutes of the game. Davies into cover. Challenge takes away from Serino now. pulls it back to cover, hits a shot, and it's fired in by Alexander. I'm not sure what happened there. Flag stays down. I wasn't sure if there was a hint of offside, but it's 1-0, 13.5 minutes in. Davies with the ball to cover. The tackle came in. McCann laid it back out to Sereno. He pulled the ball back. Cover's shot was blocked by the defender, Courtney, and straight into the path of Alexander, who just slots it in. It's 1-0, and it's our first shot on target. It's our first goal, and we have started this game on top, and hopefully we can stay that way. We're deeper than I thought we were going to, especially after that possession. I thought we were a lot higher up the pitch as Morrow looks at ball to Cook. He's in behind, forced wide. He looks back, but Cover intercepts it, and Morrow dispossesses him and goes back to McGill. Morrow again to the touchline, and Casanova is forward to Proctor now. Casanova infield to McGill. He gives it to Morrow. Back to goal. The pressure is on nicely now. We're just keeping them around that halfway line, not letting them through yet. McGill back to Morrow again. He has to go back to McGill, and McGill will switch it into the middle on Fletcher. Out to Cooper. There's a ball outside of him, but Cooper goes past his man. Defender gets back in position. Pull back to Longello. Into Fletcher. Hits the outside of the post, and Morrow tips in from inside the 6-yard box. Flag stays down yet again. I thought there was a hint of offside there, but it's 1-1. It's a poor goal to concede. They finally broke us open. Cooper towards the byline, pulled it back to Longello. He's crossing. Fletcher at the post, and Morrow was onside. Came from behind Sereno, who didn't react at all. And 11 minutes after taking the lead, it's 1-1. 10 minutes into the second half here, and Mansfield are 2-0 up at Sunderland in a game that was probably one of their winnable fixtures at the start of this run of games, but they're 2-0 down. That gives us a 2-point lead if things stay the way they are here. Time is ticking away now. 2 minutes of stoppage time. Sunderland haven't got back into that game, and we extend our lead by a point. Wasn't good enough after taking that early lead to Alexander. Morrow getting the equaliser, but that second half had absolutely nothing in it, no highlights. I decided not to go for the game. A point is better than 0 in this instance. So after the opening game, we extend our lead at the top of the table by a point, but now we have the toughest game of this running coming up next. So here is the league table after that game. As I say, we go 2 points clear of Sunderland. Mansfield move up to 13th with that victory. We go to we play Carlisle at home next. So it's a game we've got to win. Sunderland, they go to Gillingham, who are in 8th, vying for a playoff place. So it's another tough game there. They've got this poor run of form coming. Hopefully we can get a result at ours, and hopefully Gillingham can hold them up once again. I mean, if we go 3 points up with 2 games to play, great, but I'd rather be 5 points up with 2 games to play, because we will have one hand on that trophy. Here is the team news for this game. Webb, Sereno, Benjamin, Dunwoody and Davies. Abbott moves back into that defensive midfield role. Hottie and McCann in the centre. Cover on the left, James on the right, Alexander up front. Hoping for a better performance from pretty much all of them in this game. Colin James averaged a 6.92 this season. I thought he'd done better than that, if I'm completely honest. Only playing in the starting 11 today, who's averaged under a 7. Hopefully he can change that, put in a performance, and take us one step closer to the title. Corner kick, Hottie, in swinger, towards Dunwoody, headed away. Cover can pick it back up. Can he find the ball? He goes infield to Abbott. He goes back to Dunwoody, into McCann, back to goal. Not really finding the opening at the minute. Alexander, James in between the defenders, and James smashes in, and it's 1-0, 4 minutes on the clock. Colin James gets the opening goal of the game. That was fantastically worked. It looked like we weren't going to find the space or the opening. Dunwoody and McCann playing amongst themselves, but Dunwoody's ball into Abbott. He finds Alexander, quick touch into James, who's between the fullback and the centre back, and he smashes it through the hands of the Carlisle goalkeeper. For a team that are getting promoted to League One, or on the verge of getting promoted to League One, that was a poor piece of goalkeeping, as James was just onside by the look of that, and it's 1-0. This game has had a bit of a frantic start to it. Webb under a little bit of pressure there, fires it up, and it's headed down, and Jones now can collect it, gives it back to Feeney, and Whelan will look long now, sure. Out towards the byline, pulls it back to Jones, crossing. Davies gets up off the bar, great header there, and it's a goal kick, and that's 2 chances they've had in quick succession. After going 1-0 behind, we've weathered the storm a little bit there. Hopefully now we can get our foot back in this and stamp our authority on this game. 5 minutes before half time, Sunderland are dropping more points as it stands 0-0 away at Gillingham as we go into half time 1-0 up here. Serino with this long throw in towards cover. Nods it back to Serino. Ball into the far post. Can have it down. James is there. And James beats the goalkeeper in his near post for his second of the game. And we called him out at the start. He was the only player in this starting 11 playing below a 7. This rating should get him up above it. Serino's ball in towards Abbott. He nodded it down. And James smashes it past the goalkeeper at his near post. It's 2-0. What a time to get the second goal. And as it stands, Sunderland are still drawing 0-0 away at Gillingham, and we will be 4 points clear with 2 games to play. Sunderland have just taken the lead. Evans has got the goal, so that brings them back within 2 points, but our goal difference as it stands is better. It's a free kick here, and McCann's going to take it quite a way out, goes for the strike, and it's wide of the post. Keeper didn't move. I think he had it covered, but he didn't move nonetheless, so always looks probably closer than it is when he doesn't make a move. Still 2-0, 5 minutes left on the clock. Hopefully we don't concede a silly goal here and let them back into it as Henderson picks up the ball in the Carlisle half. Out to Barkley. Infield to Benjamin. Henderson now. Looks infield for McCann. Touchdown to Alexander. I thought James was going to make the run, but he didn't, and it's headed away and Moran can pick it up. Little 1-2 into Henderson and Barkley. Abbott, McCann, Henderson yet again. Gives it to Moran, ball into Barkley. Can he get the shot away? It goes through the goalkeeper Bonham, and that's the second mistake he's made today. And it's 3-0, and the game is sealed now. 3 points, and we're going to be 2 points up going into the final 2 games. And while that's not ideal, I'd like to be more. A win is a win, and we've beaten Carlisle, which was probably going to be the most difficult game of our run-in. Into stoppage time now. Sunderland have gone 2-0 up, so they've secured the game there as James goes past his man, goes down, penalty kick. I'm pretty sure James is going to take this as well. Feeney, I imagine he's only going to get booked here. No, he doesn't even get booked. Thought he was. And why is James not stepped up to take this? Oh, okay. Charlie McCann's going to take it, and Charlie McCann has a chance to make it 4. Of course he does, because he is cool as anything from the penalty spot. 4-0. We have really done a job here over third place Carlisle. Job is done here. 2 points clear of Sunderland. 2 better goal difference. They won 2-0 today. Evans getting both the goals there on 53 and 86 minutes. We have won 4-0. That has done wonders, like I say, for our goal difference. 2 games to play. Exeter can still catch Carlisle. They need 2 points. Well, they realistically need a point to secure themselves in League One for next season, so Exeter will look to keep the pressure on there. Exeter actually came from behind to draw 3-3. If they'd have won today, they'd have been in a great place to possibly pip Carlisle to promotion, but we're not worried about that right now. Hopefully we can win the first game of the next episode. We can get to 100 points, and surely we're nearly there when we're at 100 points. Anyway, if you've enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow for the last 2 games of the season.